Well, good morning. Welcome back to Pepper School here at the Garden of Apologies. This is now episode 16. Thanks for watching so far. It's got Acorn here because it's always cat time in the Garden of Apologies. I've got Mister as well. You see Brucey walking around up there. This is the first episode I'm doing inside. So we've well moved on into autumn now. Today is October 10th as I'm filming this, and it is somewhat unpleasant out. It's a little rainy, a little overcast. So this is the first of the fireside with Erik chats we've got so far this season. Welcome! So for today, we had a bit of a false start. So I started a previous video. I got through 5 of my 6 peppers, and then we had an interruption. So I'm starting again. I'm going to eat everything a second time. So for today's peppers, we have the red habanero. We have a pepper called the Beast. We also have, there is a yellow 7-pot bubblegum. We have a chocolate 7-pot bubblegum. We have a red off pheno 7-pot bubblegum that somehow ripened into a chocolatey burgundy kind of color. And we'll finish up the pepper I didn't get to last time. I have 2 different pheno shapes for the dragon's breath pepper. Let's get right on into it. You ready? Let's do it. Okay, so I've also lost my page of notes, so I'm just kind of winging it right here. But the red habanero, it's a well-known pepper, originally Caribbean. It's one of the Chinenses, and habaneros generally run 100,000 to 350,000 Scoville heat units. At one point, the red Savina had the Guinness World Record at 577,000 Scoville heat units, but it was then surpassed by the ghost pepper and several since then. So, the pepper we all know and love. Got Marbles having a sneeze over there. Get myself a nice big chunk of red hab. Red hab. Yep. Sweet, fruity habanero flavor, and then immediate mouth heat. A little bit of floral on the back end for this, the red ones here. They're definitely hotter than the orange. Orange is definitely fruitier, but there's a good stinger here on these red habs. Zing. Well, technically not zing. The next pepper we have on the list here is a Beast. So this is a pepper I've already had a bit of a slice into. This is an uncompromised pepper. So I originally got these from White Hot Peppers in Illinois. The original pepper was a cross between a chocolate Naga Brains and a Carolina Reaper. And this was an off-pheno pod that ended up being released. Let me just check my notes here, see if I have these. These were written on my piece of paper, so I don't have them on my database. I know it was, but yeah, chocolate Naga Brains, the Carolina Reaper cross. You see the split on this. It's a very thin-walled pepper. There goes. That's Bialy Povich back there. It's very thin-walled, nice little tail on it. Got some nice looking capsaicin oils in there. A few seeds I can save and maybe do this again. Hey guys, you play nicely over there. A little bit of cat growling. I think there's somebody under the wood stand over there, and meows over there being a bit of a manure spreader, so to speak. All right, the Beast pepper. Not to be confused with the Reaper Beast or Reaper Beast Peach that you may get from this guy here. The Ottawa Funny Face hot sauce guy. No, sir. I don't like it. Mm. Wow. Wow, that's a floral pod. Wow. No sweetness, no flavor, no nothing. Just hot flowers. Dang. The beast is kind of gross. I can't say I like that pepper. Well, I could say I like that pepper, but then I'm lying. Pretty hot though. Oh, hi, Louise. Yep. Got the mama cat right here. Oh, you flip down, look at her. Ooh. Do we get Louise in the camera? There she is. Get a bit of the stand and a bit of the cat and our hacked up chairs. As we get cheap armchairs and the cats can scratch them. How's that? So let's talk about the 7-pot. This is a yellow bubblegum pepper. So the 7-pot series was created with a cross between the yellow 7-pot and the Moruga scorpion. So with that combination, you'd expect to have some hot pods. They run the range from at the lower end. The yellows are the mildest at about 850,000 Scoville heat units. And they run up as high as about 1.8 million. Usually in the million to about 1.4 range is where they generally tend to sit. So the yellow bubblegum, spoiler alert, this is a really good pepper. Nice chunk of it here. But here, I'll give you a look on the inside. Got some nice compartments in there. A little bit of capsaicin oil, a nice bit of seed. Some nice firmness to it. It's a fairly thick-walled pepper. Oh yeah. That is a good pod. It has that sweet tropical forward that you expect, that you often get with these yellow pods, and it doesn't have that transition to floral. It just stays fruity all the way through. It's almost as good as the brain collapse peach I had a few episodes ago. That is an excellent pepper. The yellow bubblegum is one of my favorite pods so far this season. All right, more bubblegum. Let's go with the chocolate here. I bought an example pepper here that I haven't sliced into yet. So one thing that's really cool about the bubblegum group of peppers is, see the ripening on the calyx here? Right up here, the base of what was the flower has picked up the same color as the pod. So most of the pods you see here on this dragon's breath, you've just got kind of a flat, blunt calyx end. With the bubblegum, you've got these kind of tri-corner flaps that come out. And regardless of the variety, you see here on the yellow, they also ripen out with a triple flap and the pod color ripening just a bit up the stem. You see we got some yellow up in here. Those are really cool. With that, this is an off pheno pod. So this was the red bubblegum that we looked at a few episodes ago that I mentioned was off pheno. And it has picked up a cat hair. How about that? But off pheno because we don't have that calyx bloom that we expect in the bubblegum peppers. This is a twist on the off pheno because I had one of the plants ripen to a burgundy brown color like this. And here's another fresh pod just so you get the idea. Same basic idea. Oops, throwing that on the floor here. Same basic premise where it looks like a ghost pepper. It's got that ghost pepper shape and it doesn't have that calyx bloom. So this one's already got the slice on it. This is the red, the off pheno, and compare that quickly with the chocolate. This is my cut one. Oh, no, that's not my cut pepper. This is my cut pepper. So you see a little bit of a dangle on that? Yeah. And also another cut here. There we go. See, the one that's intended to be chocolate is a considerably more capsaicin oils in it. You can just probably see the shine in there. That's an oily pod. This guy, well, if you get up, I suppose, around the top, you've got some nice shine in there as well. But let's talk the flavor. I've grown the chocolate bubblegum before. Originally, I grew that in 2018 when Drew from Pepper North was selling pod boxes. I bought a box of 20 pods, got to try some peppers, and I saved the seeds from the chocolate bubblegum there. And I had one terrific plant at the end of the diving board in 2018. Really good pods on it, and it was one of my favorite peppers. And I remember that it had a bit of a black cherry flavor to it. But because it hasn't been core in any of the recipes for the last few years, it was a pepper I used in the Maypalm barbecue. And when Maypalm was sort of amalgamated into the Shacklin's barbecue recipe, I stopped using the chocolate bubblegum as a core pepper. And it's had a place in the Garden of Apologies, but it hasn't had a prominent place because it hasn't been a core pepper in the recipes. So the last few seasons, it's been an underproducer, where I might get a few pods, but it's often in a place where the garden isn't as productive. There's one section out there where there's a 150-year-old drive shed buried about a meter into the dirt. And in those areas, the plants above, the root growth is definitely compromised. So, long story short, chocolate bubblegum has produced enough pods this year that I can get back into tasting it and save some seeds. And it may jump back into a production pepper because I've got a greenhouse coming. Let's do it. Let's do the chocolate. No, I'll do the new pod first, just to get it out of the way and save the chocolate bubblegum as a dessert pepper. So this is the red chocolate bubblegum that ripened into the burgundy color. Nope. The hint of sweet there, and then just floral nasal heat. That is not a good pepper. And I'll probably save the seeds because that's just what you do. But that's not going to be a valuable pepper. There's not enough going on with this little mutation that makes it worth growing out. Not every snowflake will make it. But see, it's off pheno, so we don't have the attractiveness that we get from the bubblegum peppers. It's a different color, and it doesn't have the flavor. So there's no real reason why this pepper is a keeper, aside from the novelty of having something a little bit unusual. Hello, Igor. Hello, Hank. Hello, Mister. Hello, Marbles. It's always cat time here at the Garden of Apologies. But moving on. The chocolate bubblegum. What's going on, Hank? Oh, got the tail. Let's get into my chocolate bubblegum here. So we've already had a look at the inside. I've got a nice squishy chunk down at the end. Oh yeah. Awesome. Yeah. There's that little hint of the black cherry and the sweetness that I really like about the chocolate bubblegum pepper. And then that blast of heat. So again, it's a cross between the yellow 7-pot and the chocolate Moruga scorpion. So they run the range from about 850,000 Scoville heat units up to about 1.8 million. I'm going to say this one's up at the top end of that. Damn. All right. The last one I have for today is the pepper I have not yet cut into. Oh, stay off the keyboard, please. Igor wants to jump up by the computer there. And what are you looking at, Hank? It's always cat time here in the Garden of Apologies. or inside the church that is the soy sauce headquarters. Dragon's breath pepper. Two different phenos. Got the smooth and the wrinkly of that. This one I do have notes for, so let me just pull it up here. So it was originally, Dragon's breath pepper was created as a project between Neil Price, NPK Technology, and Nottingham Trent University. That collaboration was then grown out by a gentleman named Mike Smith in Wales in 2017. And this was tested at 2.48 million Scoville heat units. As I understand, it was submitted to the Guinness Authority to claim the new world record, and it's just kind of sat there. I don't know if Guinness is still testing peppers. It may make sense to stop because there are new cultivars all the time, new developments. It would just be a game of whack-a-mole if they're trying to keep up with it. So it may make sense at this point just to jump out of the pepper arms race. But I do have two different versions of the Dragon's Breath here, the regular and the long. This one being the long from Atlantic Pepper Seeds. So, there's my knife. Let's give her a shot for the slicing. There's Pheno 1 and Compatriot 2. So there are two different versions of the same thing right here. So what we're looking at here, got the longer pod here, nice thick walls on it, a whole lot of pith, some decent moisture in there. Looks more dangerous cut open than it did prior to that. And then the other pheno shape, just filthy with oil on the inside, gnarly pod. Very thin though. All right. Hi, back to me. Similar smell on both of them. It's got that perfuminess. Dragon's Breath isn't a nice pod. I've grown them for a few years now. They are nasty. Also, a lot of controversy is a thought that they may just be an alternate cultivar of a 7-pot infinity pepper. So another fun guy I haven't grown in a few years, but I've been there. Dragon's Breath, Part 1. Oh, nice. It's got that tropical sweet forward on it, and the heat creeps and builds. So one thing I find about the Dragon's Breath is that you get a little bit of the mouth heat when you first eat it, and it gets you in the gut, and it kind of comes up the esophagus. You get the tingle in the back of the head. Start to get a bit of a scalp sweat up here. So that's Dragon's Breath Part 1. And let's get Dragon's Breath Part 2. That's a pretty big chunk of pepper. Oh. Wow. My goodness. Okay, that second pod was much hotter than the first pod. Much less pleasant on the flavor. Oh my goodness. That is a floral pod. Oh. Yuck. Oh. No, sir. I don't like it. The heat's growing. And it's getting worse. That is not a pleasant pepper. Don't eat them on their own. Don't eat pieces of them. blend them in the hot sauce and make something good. But dang, on its own, that dragon's breath is just a bit of nastiness. It's been tested at 2.48 million Scoville heat units. It has a different chemostatic effect with the body than it does with the Carolina Reaper. No, sir, that is not a good pepper. Dang. Okay, now that I've been through 7 pods today with a bonus, I can go have some lunch, finish my coffee. But thank you very much for watching Pepper School, and thanks for joining me on the move indoors here to Fireside with Erik. That's the fire. I'm Erik. We're beside each other. This is Pepper School, Garden of Apologies. Thank you for watching. The dragon's breath makes my tongue hurt. Dang. Whew. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe. Stay tuned next time because we're talking genetics. And thank you.